Escape Pod, Episode 708, Into the Paddock, by Nathan Susnick.
Hello, and welcome to Escape Pod, your weekly science fiction podcast. I'm your host this week, Tina Connolly, and I am here to bring you Into the Paddock by Nathan Susnick. This story is original to Escape Pod. Nathan Susnick is a medical writer who lives near Hanover, Germany. His fiction has appeared in or is forthcoming from markets such as Podcastle, Cast of Wonders, and Shoreline of Infinity. You can find out more about him and his fiction by visiting his website, nathansusnick.wordpress.com, or by following him on Twitter at Nathan Susnick. Your narrator this week is Trendane Sparks. Originally born in Texas, Trendane Sparks eventually escaped and wound his way through a mystical series of jobs in the San Francisco Bay Area, where he has worked as a software QA tester for both graphics drivers and video games, a freelance mascot performer, and several jobs on a PBS Kids show. For most of his life, people have told him that his voice is a pleasure to listen to. But since being a werewolf phone sex operator can get boring, he decided to use his powers to entertain a broader audience. And our continued thanks to this week's audio producer, Summer Brooks. This story has a content warning for swearing. So get ready to follow the dirt path past the Moo Moo Milk Barn, TM, because it's story time.
Into the Paddock by Nathan Susnick, narrated by Trend Sparks. We need a shitload of bunnies. How fast can you get me a shitload of bunnies? Says Schneider, walking into my office. Sort of. Okay, fine. I don't have an office, and Schneider is calling on share space over the old intercerebral implant, so she's not walking. I'm in the orchard, scraping gum off of my shoe and watching a bunch of kids pluck ripe apples from plastic trees. A kid throws an apple at the barn. It goes wide. I laugh. Another one hits the side. Plunk. And then, ping, Schneider just sort of appears. She hovers in the air all ghostly for a while until I pinch her down on the dirt path and answer the call. That's when she says the bunnies thing. Schneider has 3 moods. 1, depressive. 2, belligerent. 3, depressive/belligerent. She's belligerent 90% of the time, so I throw on Vulgablock, trademark. What happened to the bunnies? I say. She shrugs. They died. How? Do I look like a fornicating veterinarian? It's Friday, I say. She shrugs again. So? I get off in an hour. De novo bunnies will take at least 2. So? I have plans. Schneider laughs. Good one, she says. Look. If we don't have bunnies, our billable animal count decreases for the whole weekend. If our billable animal count decreases, our ticket prices drop on Vacation app, which means we lose money on every visit, which means you lose money on your paycheck. Also, people write angry reviews, especially people whose children have been disappointed because we don't have any bunnies. Angry reviews are bad for our stats, and you know how Rick feels about our stats. The kids walk up and tell me that the trees in the orchard don't have any more fruit. Inwardly, I sigh. Outwardly, I smile, put Schneider on hold, and tell them that more apples are on the way. It'll be about 20 minutes. In the meantime, they can visit Crazy Carl's hayloft, trademark. Just follow the dirt path past Moo Moo Milk Barn, trademark. I send Bashir a quick post to refill the trees. Then I take Schneider off of hold. That's the way we do it, Vogelsang, she says. Customer orientation. Where were we? Rick, stats, I say. Oh, yeah. Then she proceeds to tell me again how Rick feels about our stats. Basically, if we don't have new bunnies by Saturday, I'll be hearing about it on my quarterly review. And if I hear about it on my quarterly review, there goes my yearly bonus. I picture taking off my uniform overalls, balling them up, throwing them on the ground, and doing a little I quit dance in my underpants, and then sending said dance to Rick per quick post as my resignation. But I don't. I need Farmer Frank's 20th Century Fun Park more than Farmer Frank's 20th Century Fun Park needs me. Mom's health isn't the best anymore, and Brenda's not doing so well either. I'm basically the sole breadwinner for the family now, who, if I have to be honest, does not win very good bread. Farmer Frank's pays like half of a loaf of toast. I have hopes of earning whole grain spelt or focaccia one day, if I work hard, but right now, a half a loaf of toast has to cover electricity, food, water, school loans, etc. So I don't quit. Just this once, I say, which is somehow funny because Schneider laughs again. Glad we're clear, she says. Oh, she adds, apropos printing animals, a new schematic was just released and Farmer Frank's needs an experienced operator to run it tomorrow. But, I say, Schneider gives me the old eye roll. You have plans? I sigh. Fine, just this once. The specs on the bioprint trademark 2590XE are way better than the old Organojet registered trademark 3000. Print speed 900 megacell per second. Enhanced extracellular matrix synthesis capabilities, biorecycling of organic matter through the built-on hopper, standard pathogen genetic modification, automated gut flora enrichment. Each bunny prints in about 45 minutes, which is 3 hours in total, but it's still super fast compared to the Organojet's 100 megacells per second. Fresh out, the bunnies are blank, which means that they just sit there and drool. Lights on, nobody's home. I call Bashir to help get them to the habitat. Load them up, says Bashir. I stack the bunnies on the little metal flap of Bashir's dolly, and Bashir pushes them away, wheels squeaking. We set the bunnies in the habitat, and I filter through their memories in AnyCloud. Rick negotiated about 1 million copies on the bunny license, so it's cheaper to reprint than hire a vet. It keeps costs down, which Rick says is also good for the old stats. I delete the suffering/dying parts of the bunnies' memories and upload them into the bodies. We finish at 9:30, and Bashir asks if I can clean the bioprint 2590 on my own. He has plans tonight. Fine, I say. Did you at least remember to fill the apples in the orchard? Feces, he says. Can you cover for me? I sigh inwardly. No problem. I give him a stupid smile. Bashir leaves, and I'm here another hour and a half. Where's Mom? I say. Brenda sits in her Dialomatic XE recliner smoking a cigarette, watching Rate My Parenting.
Bring me a kidney?
She asks. Not today. I still can't afford one.
Who can?
Him. I point to the Rate My Parenting celebrity expert. Rather by a pack of wolves than you, says the expert to a stunned-looking contestant. 2.5 out of 10. Your kid was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, Tarzan had more manners. Tarzan! The woman cries. That's mean, I say. Brenda laughs, which turns into a laugh, cough, which turns into a cough.
But it's true,
she says when she gets her wind back.
How old do you think he is anyway?
The kid?
No, dummy.
She points to the celebrity expert. 261, according to Wikistar app, I say.
No wrinkles. Not one at all. Doesn't look a day over 40,
says Brenda.
I want to know where he got that skin.
Don't know, but he's on liver number 6, I say. Brenda whistles. She looks behind her, wiggles her index finger, and lowers her head. When I lean in, she grabs my wrist and yanks me towards her.
Your mom went to Doc Van Gessel yesterday. He says she needs a new ticker. Don't tell her I told you,
she whispers in her raspy voice. What? Didn't she get one like 10 years ago? I say. Shouldn't it still be under warranty?
Just keep it down. She told me not to tell you. She'll freak if she finds out I told you.
Where is she, anyway? I say. Brenda motions toward the kitchen.
Learn how to whisper, Brenda. I can hear everything you're saying,
says Mom from the kitchen.
It's not true, honey. Don't listen to her. My ticker's fine.
What the fornication are these? Says Snyder. Weird chickens? Velociraptors, I say. Knee-high feathered things huddle in the corner of the reserved chicken coop, shivering. Schneider sighs.
Is this what they're supposed to look like? Did you
fornicate
them up, Vogelsang?
I pull the Bioprint 2590XE display in front of her. Schneider scratches her head.
They look nothing like in the movies,
she says. They're historically accurate, I say.
Meaning?
This is what they really looked like.
Like weird chickens?
Says Schneider. I nod. Fornicate.
No wonder they went extinct.
Schneider shakes her head.
Jesus God! Do you know how much Rick paid for licensing on those things? Can you do anything?
Like what?
I don't know. Make them bigger, scarier, take away the crappy plumage.
Copyright, I say. I'm not authorized to change schematics without expressed written consent. Feces.
You're so by the book,
says Schneider.
Take a risk, won't you?
I could lose my license, I say, which really wouldn't be cool, considering that I'm still paying off 20 years' worth of old school loans. Messing around with bioprint copyrights is a dangerous game. Unlicensed printing of animals could get me thrown in jail. Unlicensed printing of human cells/organs could get me a prison sentence of up to 20 years, plus a lifetime ban on transplants. We stare at the velociraptors for a while. They keep biting each other's tails. There's already missing plumage and bloody red spots on most of their backs. They really do look like weird chickens. What do velociraptors have to do with this place anyway? I say. Schneider squints at them as I continue. They're neither farm animals nor did they exist in the 20th century. Don't we accept educational grants? Schneider shrugs.
Kids in the 20th century like dinosaurs. Also, she adds, those Wish-It kids are always asking to see dinosaurs, and Wish-It kids do wonders for our stats. And you know how Rick feels about stats?
Sure, I say. It's not as though we don't currently have any Wish-It kids. Wish-It kids visit almost every quarter. For marketing purposes, we keep records of all the kids' names, addresses, favorite types of foods, terminal illnesses, etc. We give the kids the Hayloft suite, whatever they want to order at the Moo Moo Milk Barn, even if it isn't on the menu. Use of the Gold Star customer lines all over the park, and pay for whatever medical devices they need at our own cost. This is probably because Wish-It Kid visit adds a bonus to our desirability factor, which adds as a multiplier to our popularity score. Our overall popularity score determines the ticket price, which is probably why Rick will do anything for the stats. I'm still at the reserved chicken coops trying to figure out what the velociraptors will eat when, ping, Brenda appears. She's sitting in the Dialomatic XE, smoking a cigarette, paler than usual. ShareSpace is still on auto-mute. I mouth, I'm at work, but she frantically waves both hands. I pinch her down to minimum, slide her over to an open space on the concrete and unmute her. I'm at work. What is it?
I wasn't making things up,
says Minnie Brenda. She points at the pink uniformed people in the background. Mom's laying on the sofa.
It's her heart. They're taking her to Vecticom Incorporated Memorial Hospital.
Then there are fingers snapping in my face. Earth to Vogelsang, says Schneider. We can monitor your activity when you're on Farmer Frank's network. No share spacing at work. Sorry, I say, and hang up. The floors and walls at Vecticom Incorporated Memorial are white and shiny, painted with softly glowing pastel lines, each with a various shape presented in a various hue. Greens, blues, oranges, and red circles, triangles, squares, and pentagons all point the way to different departments. I follow the periwinkle triangle to cardiology. Mom's in a 4-bed room. Screens are on, nurses walk by, orderlies push carts and beds with squeaky wheels, everyone coughs everywhere. Mom's pale and barely moving. Her girth takes up most of the single bed. Funny, until now, I never noticed how large she is. Her voice is barely a whisper. "Hi." "Mom," I say. She points to her chest. "Still paying off the last one," she says. A man appears at the door, looking uncomfortable, looking somehow as if his gray suit and thick-rimmed glasses are wearing him. "Gary," he says, holding out a hand, crossing the room. "Hi, Gary," whispers Mom. "Who's this?" I say to Mom. "He's Gary," says Mom. "Yeah, I know, but what does he want?" Mom shrugs her shoulders, barely moving. "Ask him." We both look at Gary. "I represent Organofarm Financial," says Gary. "Okay," I say. "My office is right down the hall." "Okay," I say. "You have healthcare power of attorney for your mother? Come see me whenever you're ready," he says, and leaves. Gary's office is a 5 by 5 by 2 meter cube. The window panes, trademark, display calming images, beaches, waves, tropical birds, etc. "Please take a seat," says Gary, motioning to a beanbag. "Can I get you anything? Coffee, tea, water?" "No thanks," I say, and sink in. "Let me start by saying that we, from Organofarm Financial, are devoted to ensuring optimal outcome for all stakeholders involved in the healthcare process, from the corporation to the shareholders to the patient," says Gary. "That's nice," I say. "That means that we are dedicated to find the optimal solutions that suit each and every patient's individualized needs." He claps his hand. A file pops up between us. "Let's see. Female, 106 years old, married, multiple comorbidities." "Multiple what?" I say, but Gary ignores me. "Diagnosis, acute cardiac fascia graft failure. It looks as if the dysfunctional cardiac fascia graft also caused pre-renal kidney injury." "Will she be okay?" I ask. "Let's see here," Gary says, scrolling down. "We ran your mother's data through CliniWiz, and it recommends a new heart. Also, it looks like your mother is still on her biological kidneys, which is quite impressive for a woman of her age and stature. CliniWiz also recommends preemptive replacement of one or both kidneys. She's in pretty bad condition and probably unable to make her own logical decision, which is why I'm meeting with you." My stomach sinks. "Didn't Mom just get a new heart?" Gary breathes in through his teeth. "I'll just check." He pokes the air, clicks his tongue a couple of times, and wrinkles his forehead. Then he frowns. "She purchased a Heart Gen 4 13 years ago, which does come with a 20-year guarantee, but according to the terms and conditions, the guarantee only covers wear and tear caused by normal nutritional habits." "And?" I say. "Mom's pretty normal." "Not according to her Congo.com weekly grocery list. I'm afraid the warranty is void." "You can access that?" Gary nods. He explains that they can access personal data if it concerns Organofarm's products, insurance, or liability, or if it will generally help improve product performance, or for research purposes, or really for any reason. He laughs. Then he introduces the 8.1 CRX, the heart that provides the best longevity outcomes for robust users. If you bundle it with any kidney, it's 15% off the MSRP, 30% if you get 2 kidneys. He shows me a number that we can't afford. "I know it's expensive, but you really can't put a price tag on the health of your loved ones. Sign here and we'll get the credit approval underway." I sign. At work the next morning, Schneider is up to her knees in dead mice. Sort of. All right, she's not really up to her knees, and the mice aren't really dead. They're just sort of laying all over the reserved chicken coops without a consciousness. Schneider motions at the mice. Then to the velociraptors, with a look on her face that says, "These fornicators still won't eat." I shrug. "Did you try chicks?"
"Jesus, Vogelsang, I'm not an idiot."
"Okay," I say, and head over to the Bioprint 2590XE. Schneider throws the mice into the biorecycle hopper, and I make a steak. The raptors don't touch it. We recycle the steak. Pork? No. Liver? No. Fish? No. Hamsters? No. Tofu? Double no. Fornicating.
"Weird chickens?"
says Schneider.
"Live prey?"
No, I say. That's cruel.
"Do you know what's cruel, Vogelsang? Resurrecting animals millions of years after they've been extinct and then letting them starve to death. That's
Fornicating. Cruel. Okay, I got it.
also,"
adds Schneider.
"Rick blew our yearly budget for exclusive Velociraptors licensing rights for the tri-state area. We only have 6 copies, which means that if they die, we can kiss Farmer Franks goodbye."
I sigh. I didn't sign up for murdering live animals, but if I lose my job, I'll never get the credit for Mom's new heart. So I print out a mouse, pull up a file on AnaCloud labeled Musculus Backup Memories. Then I upload the file into a mouse, pick it up by the tail, and put it in the reserved chicken coops. When the mouse scurries into the habitat, the velociraptors immediately pounce on it. When I get to the hospital after work, Mom's sleeping. I shake her, but she doesn't wake. Even though she's unconscious, she still somehow manages to look tired. Gary appears in the doorway and beckons to me. I go to his office. He frowns and then coughs. Then he clears his throat and coughs again, and I get the feeling that he's stalling. "Well," I say. He explains that due to the financial circumstance, i.e., my mother still owing money on her last heart, and me still having the old student loans, and due to my current earning status, and due to Brenda's health, and current lack of income, and due to about 1,000 other things, we did not qualify for credit on a new heart. Not even one of the old models. "Okay," I say. "What are our options?" He says that he's very sorry. He wishes that there was something he could do, but alas, there are no options. Then he hands me a pamphlet for Budger Funeral, a subsidiary of Organofarm, and lightly pushes me out of his office. Mom is still unconscious when I get back to her bedside. The doctor tells me not to worry. She's in a coma and won't feel a thing. Then she explains that if we keep her on the Organofarm external heart, Mom will never recover. She'll slowly get worse until she drifts away, and it'll cost us loads of money, like the kind of money that Brenda and I can't afford. I barely have time to share space Brenda and explain the situation before the technicians begin the shutdown procedure. It only takes a couple of minutes before Mom stops breathing, and I hold her hand as she goes. Goodbye, Mom. In the fast-paced world of amusement park fun, there's no time for grief. I get a quick post asking if I will be in the next day to take care of the velociraptors. Schneider is sick, and Bashir hasn't turned up the last couple of days. So the next day, I go to work. It's either that or risk being fired. When Rick hears about Mom, he sends me a personal quick post with his sympathies and tells me that due to the sudden influx of new visitors, it will not be possible to give me Saturday or Sunday off. But I'm such a devoted employee that it would be fine by him if I took Monday off to put my mother to rest. Thank you for understanding, Rick, I send back. The velociraptors are a hit. Every day I release 20 printed mice in the raptor paddock, formerly the reserved chicken coop, at 3:15 p.m. I upload the same musculus backup memories file into all 20 mice. Unbeknownst to this mouse, it runs into the raptor paddock and is eaten 20 times every day, serving the sole purpose of making Farmer Frank's 20th century experience very profitable. Within the next 2 months, the average daily visitor count increases by 4.5-fold. This is despite a vacation app ticket price increase of 3.9-fold due to our popularity score. People line up by the hundreds, sometimes waiting the whole day to watch the raptors during feeding time. Bashir installs 4 front-row seats for Wish-It kids. They are filled nearly every day. Our stats are amazing. I'm in the orchard, scraping gum off my shoe, again, when, ping, I get a quick post from Rick.
Vogelsang, it says. My office, quarterly review time.
Normally, Rick sits behind an oaken desk, black hair slicked back, smiling, a hand rubbing the stubble on his chin, a very handsome 44 to 140 years old. Who really knows? He has the money to turn 300 and look the same. But today, he's a bit hunched over, a bit unkempt, his complexion a bit yellowish.
Vogelsang, he laughs. Exactly the person I wanted to see.
He pulls up a bunch of numbers, all bright green.
Look at these stats. Amazing, simply amazing. We're killing World War II world and Victorian land. I just got a call from the CEO of... Look, I can't tell you who exactly it was from confidentiality and all.
He puts his hand behind his head, forming ears.
Do you know what she wanted to talk about?
I shake my head.
Stats. In particular, our stats. In particular, our amazing stat. And who do I blame for those? You, Vogelsang, feeding raptors live mice.
He laughs again.
As soon as that went viral, the controversy, the publicity, a modern-day coliseum. Genius, Vogelsang, genius. We're overrun with Wish-It kids. Absolutely overrun. The whole tri-state area wants to see velociraptors.
I say, but Rick cuts me off.
Do we get ahead in life by staying still? No, we do not. Do we get ahead in life by moving backward? No, that would just be silly. Risks, Vogelsang, risks. That's how we get ahead in life. And that's why I like you. I'm glad to see that we have such a risk taker on board. That's what I wanted to talk to you about today, about moving forward in your career, about taking risks, about getting ahead, about scratching backs, in particular, mine and yours. We take risks together, we get ahead together. Do you understand, Vogelsang?
Sure, I say, although I'm not sure where he's going with this.
Do we understand, for your good and mine, that nothing we say gets out of this room?
Sure, I say.
Good. I'm glad, because if anything we say did get out of this room, that could be very bad indeed for particular parties inside of this room. Me, not so much. I have the money to deal with such things, but that's beside the point.
He smiles.
Now, Vogelsang, I have a little hypothetical for you. Say someone you knew needed a liver. Someone very dear to you. Say someone you knew was a talented surgeon. Say someone you knew was a programmer by a company like Organofarm. And say someone you knew was a printer, a particularly talented risk-taking printer who had access to a top-of-the-line machine. And say that you had lots of money that you could be using in ways other than purchasing extremely overpriced organs that are only priced so high because of a fabricated monopoly, unjust copyright laws, and wonky healthcare system, which I believe you have just experienced. If that were the case, these unjust copyright laws and wonky healthcare system would be stopping you from spending money in much more productive ways, like investing in growth or giving particular much-deserving employees promotions and very large bonuses. You're smart, Vogelsang. That idea you had with feeding live mice to the raptors, genius and ruthless. It's because of your ability to take what you want, your genius and your ruthlessness, that I decided to present you with this hypothetical situation today. Say that tonight you will be working third shift, and say that I might be dropping by to pick something up. Say that tonight you make the right decision. It could be very good for your future. That will be all.
Rick looks down at his desk and starts writing something very intently. I say. Then, and then, well... Rick looks up, and I don't feel as if I'm explaining the full moral, ethical, and judicial complexity of the situation very well. Am I a risk taker? No. Do I want to be involved in copyright infringement and other illegal activities? No. If I go to the police, will Rick cover everything up and fire me, which would be detrimental to my chances of getting Brenda a kidney or lungs when she needs them? Most likely. So do I really have a choice in this situation? No. All right then, says Rick. See you tonight. I get to work at 10 p.m., and Julia, the girl at the front desk in the farmhouse, gives me a funny look. Normally only security and service desk works third shift. Rick asked me to print out some extra kittens. Julia squints. I shrug. Request from a Wish-It kid. Julia furrows her brow, scrolling through the guest list. I don't see any requests. Funny, I say. Rick specifically mentioned it. Maybe you can send me the list? Sure, she says. Thanks, I say, and I walk past. The Bioprint 2590 XE stands cold in the middle of the room. There's a mem stick and 2 kilograms of ground beef sitting on the operator's table. I switch the printer on, let it heat to 37 degrees Celsius. I wave the mem stick and a schematic pops up. Organofarm liver Gen 6S. The schematic is basically cracked, so I can print as many as I want. I stare at the ground beef and think of Mom. Then I think of Brenda. How many years before her biological lungs give out? 1? 2? Is Rick planning on giving me a bonus large enough to pay for lungs? No. Would a promotion help me qualify for a loan? Maybe. Who knows? Maybe Rick will make me a partner or something, give me stock in the company. Maybe a magic organ fairy will come along and give us organs whenever we need them. Maybe. On the other hand, maybe it won't. Maybe I'll get caught with this mem stick and convicted of dealing contraband organs. Goodbye, freedom. God, I wish I had a choice. I come in every day. I work overtime. I do everything Rick and Schneider want. Was it enough to save Mom? No. Now I am breaking the law. Will it be enough to save Brenda? No, probably not. I want to scream. I now understand what the mouse feels. The one that I print every day and release into the raptor paddock, only to be eaten and printed again the next day. But it doesn't remember what happened the previous day. And I do, or I think I do. Am I just realizing what my life is just now? I scream. The sound bounces off the walls, drowning out the humming of the Bioprint 2590 XE. I drop into the operator's chair and bury my head in my hands. Ping! A quick post from front desk Julia. The list of Wish-It kids. Cripes. The Wish-It kids. The only people worse off than me. I get up and load the ground beef into the biorecycling hopper. 45 minutes later, there's a shiny red liver Gen 6S in the printer. I move it to the cold storage chamber, plump back down into the operator's chair, and open the list of Wish-It kids. The first one is Aziz Johnson, staying in Hayloft Suite 103A tomorrow. He lives with his parents in one of the not-so-good areas of town. Cirrhosis. He has cirrhosis. Other problems too, but most acute amongst them is the cirrhosis. How long would a shiny new Gen 6S here buy him? A year? Maybe 2? 5? 10? Who knows? Will his parents even speak with me? Will they thank me if I help extend the inevitable? Will Rick's doctor agree to a second operation? I don't know. Risks, Vogelsang, risks. That's how we get ahead in this life. I print a mouse and upload the file marked musculus backup memories, then delete it from Anacloud. I go out amongst the plastic trees of the orchard and release the mouse. It may get stepped on or caught by a cat or die a million other ways. But then again, it may make it. It may breed and have thousands of little mouse grandchildren. Who knows? I stand next to Bioprint 2590 XE, thinking about what I could recycle if I were to make a second liver. I used all of the ground beef on the first. There's nothing else left. I can't use dirt or apples. They have the wrong types of molecule. I need meat, something animal, smallish, but not too small. About the size of a large chicken. The perfect size for a second liver. I think of Mom and Brenda and all of the Wish-It kids. Then I think of the celebrity on Rate My Parenting and Rick and all of the billionaires. What makes them so deserving? What makes them worthier than those kids or the women that raised me? I fall to my knees and cry, snot running from my nose. Red-eyed, I stand up. Enough. I've had enough. As I enter the paddock, the velociraptors huddle in the corner.
As you've heard me say, I love stories that are set at the precise edge of grim and funny. The ones who have some serious points to make, but make you ruefully laugh with the absurdity along the way. Nathan clearly found every place he could to shove in another joke, from the trademarked Farmer Frank's rides, to the Volga block replacing the swear words, to the Budgie Funeral, a subsidiary of Organo Farm. But the story has important things to say, too, and it comes at you right from the first mention of the trademarked liver number 6 that the celebrity expert is on. The tangle of health insurance and capitalism in this story reminds me of Carolyn M. Yoakum's Welcome to the Medical Clinic at the Interplanetary Relay Station, hours since the last patient death, 0, which is also delivered as humor with a bite. The subplot about the Wish-It kids is dropped in so casually as to seem pointed satire of a different kind. The kids are only valuable because they bring up our stats. But when it's suddenly clear that we could be saving those kids and we're just choosing not to, the story gets even bitier and leads us to the perfectly grim conclusion of sacrificing those weird new chickens to give those children a better ending. Escape Pod is a production of Escape Artists Inc. and is brought to you with a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Don't change it, don't sell it. Please, go forth and share it. How do you share it, you ask? Well, in addition to your social media of choice, consider rating and or reviewing us on podcast listening sites such as Apple Podcasts or Spotify. More reviews makes for more discoverability, makes for more Escape Pod for you. Now, Escape Pod relies on the generous donations of listeners exactly like you. So, if you enjoyed our story this week, then consider going to, and there's some extra ones in here, look, escapepod.org, there's one, patreon.com/EAPodcasts, there's another, we'll come back to it, or even now Ko-fi or Ko-fi or Ko-fi. I'm going to assume it's pronounced coffee because that's kind of the point of it. Anyway, let me just stop there for a second to tell you about how close we are in making our Patreon goals to meet the costs of the SEFWA price increase. In fact, while I'm recording this, we're close, so it's possible by the time you hear it, we're even closer or maybe over. But we can always use your help. People's donations fluctuate all the time, so your effort is always helped. Now look, we want to pay our authors a fair rate, and naturally, over the years, that rate goes up. So, if you're able to find it within your means to help us with this, I can't tell you how much we'll appreciate it. So once again, go hop on over to patreon.com/EAPodcasts and cast your vote for more stories that consider what to do with the ground beef. Our opening and closing music is by Daikaiju at daikaiju.org. And for our closing quotation this week, I thought about sourcing something from another satirist, Jonathan Swift, who also wrote about the intersection of capitalism and, well, human life in A Modest Proposal. but instead I decided to quote you something that, in this context, might even be a little positive. Michael Crichton, Jurassic Park. Life finds a way. Thanks for listening, and have fun.